Have you ever done something small, something you thought was insignificant, and it ended up changing your entire life? That's exactly what happened to Amelia. She was a librarian, a woman who found comfort in the quiet rustle of pages and the scent of old books. Her life was a carefully curated collection of peaceful moments and predictable routines. Little did she know, one single rainy afternoon was about to tear through the pages of her quiet life and write a chapter she could never have imagined. It was a Tuesday, the kind of gray, drizzly day that makes you want to curl up with a hot cup of tea. Amelia was leaving work, her umbrella a small shield against the persistent rain. As she rounded a corner, a screech of tires cut through the city's hum. A black sedan, sleek and menacing, had swerved to avoid a small boy who had darted into the street, chasing a red ball. The car barely missed him, but the boy, no older than 6, stumbled and fell hard on the wet pavement. His knee was scraped and bleeding, and he was crying, more from shock than pain. People glanced, maybe winced, but kept walking. It was a busy street, and everyone had somewhere to be, but Amelia couldn't. She rushed to the boy's side, her umbrella creating a small, dry haven for them both. "Hey, are you okay, little guy?" she asked softly. He looked up at her, his big brown eyes filled with tears. She pulled a tissue from her purse and gently dabbed his scraped knee. She then noticed his shoelace was untied. With a small smile, she knelt and tied it for him, making a neat double knot. "There," she said. "All better." Just then, a frantic man, clearly the boy's father, rushed over, scooping the child into his arms. He looked at Amelia, his eyes a mix of relief and something else, an intensity that was almost unsettling. "Thank you," he said, his voice a low rumble. "Thank you for stopping." Amelia just smiled, said it was no problem, and watched them go, the man and the boy disappearing back into the city's flow. She thought that was the end of it. An act of kindness, a fleeting moment. She was so wrong. The next day, a bouquet of the most exquisite white lilies she had ever seen arrived at the library. The card simply read, "For your kindness, Mr. DeLuca." Amelia was puzzled. How did he know where she worked? She dismissed it as a wealthy, grateful father going the extra mile. But then, other things started to happen. Her landlady, who had been threatening to raise her rent, suddenly became incredibly friendly, even offering to fix her leaky faucet for free. A parking ticket she'd received weeks ago was mysteriously paid. It was like small, invisible hands were smoothing out the wrinkles in her life. One evening, as she was closing the library, a sleek black car, the same one from the accident, pulled up to the curb. The back door opened, and the man from that rainy day, Mr. DeLuca, stepped out. This time, he was dressed in a perfectly tailored suit that seemed to radiate power. "Amelia," he said, and the way he said her name sent a shiver down her spine. "Please, allow me to properly thank you. Join me for dinner." It wasn't really a question. There was a politeness in his tone, but an undeniable command underneath. Hesitantly, she agreed. They went to a restaurant so exclusive, Amelia didn't even know it existed. The owner greeted Mr. DeLuca with a reverence that bordered on fear. Over dinner, he revealed who he was. Vincent DeLuca. The name didn't mean anything to Amelia at first, but as he spoke, a chilling realization dawned on her. He wasn't just a wealthy businessman. He was the head of the city's most powerful and feared crime family. The little boy she had helped, Leo, was his only son, his heir. In the world Vincent DeLuca inhabited, kindness was a currency rarer and more valuable than gold. Her simple, genuine act of helping his son, with no thought of reward, had marked her. It had made her special in his eyes. He explained that his family had enemies, people who would have seen his son's vulnerability as an opportunity. "You didn't just tie his shoe, Amelia," Vincent said, his gaze intense. "You showed him a kindness that doesn't exist in my world. You protected him without even knowing it." From that day forward, Amelia's life was turned upside down. Vincent DeLuca had decided she was under his protection. It was a golden cage she never asked for. Her quiet life was gone. Men in dark suits followed her at a discreet distance for her safety. Her favorite coffee shop suddenly gave her free coffee for life. Her student loans, a mountain of debt that had loomed over her for years, were suddenly gone, paid in full by an anonymous benefactor. At first, it was terrifying. Amelia felt like a specimen under a microscope. She tried to refuse his gifts, to tell him she wanted her old life back, but Vincent wouldn't hear of it. "You are part of the family's circle now," he told her gently but firmly. "I protect what is mine." But what did that even mean? Was she a friend? A project? A possession? The lines were blurry and dangerous. She started seeing Vincent and Leo more often. He would bring his son to the library, and Leo, who was shy and serious around everyone else, would light up around Amelia. He'd bring her stacks of books, and she'd read to him for hours, creating a small island of normalcy in their strange reality. In those moments, she saw a different side of Vincent. The ruthless mob boss would watch them, his hard features softening as he saw his son laugh. He would talk to Amelia about books, about history, about a life he might have lived if he hadn't been born into the one he had. There was a deep-seated loneliness in him, a vulnerability he only ever let her see. And against her better judgment, Amelia started to see the man behind the monster. She was walking a tightrope. On one side was the terrifying world of organized crime, a world of violence and fear she wanted no part of. On the other side was a connection, a strange magnetic pull towards this complex man and his sweet son. The real test came a few months later. A rival family, seeing Vincent's unusual interest in an ordinary librarian, decided Amelia was his weakness. A way to get to him. One night, as she was walking home, two men cornered her in an alley. Her blood ran cold. The quiet shadows of the city she loved suddenly felt menacing. But before they could lay a hand on her, Vincent's men appeared out of nowhere. It was swift, brutal, and silent. Amelia was whisked away, unharmed but deeply shaken. Vincent was waiting for her, his face a mask of cold fury she had never seen before. "They tried to use you to hurt me," he said, his voice dangerously low. "That will not happen again." The incident sparked a war in the city's underworld. Headlines screamed about gang violence, but only Amelia knew the real reason. It was all because of her. She was the librarian who had started a mob war. She felt suffocated by the guilt, the fear, and the golden cage that was growing tighter every day. She confronted Vincent, telling him she couldn't live like this, that his protection was destroying her. For the first time, he looked lost. "If you leave," he said, his voice raw with an emotion she couldn't quite name, "you will be unprotected. They will come for you, and if they hurt you, I will burn this city to the ground." That's when she understood. His protection wasn't just about gratitude anymore. It was about something deeper. He saw her as a beacon of light, a symbol of the goodness he'd lost. In saving his son, she had inadvertently saved a part of him too, and he would never let that go. Amelia's story doesn't have a simple ending. She didn't run away, and she didn't fully embrace his world. Instead, she chose a third path. She stayed, but on her own terms. She continued to be the librarian. She continued to be Leo's friend, a source of stability and kindness in his tumultuous life. She became Vincent DeLuca's confidant, his anchor to a world of normalcy. She was the one person who wasn't afraid of him, the one person who treated him not as a mob boss, but as a man. Her act of kindness didn't just save a child. It created a paradox, a bridge between two worlds that should never have met. She lived in the shadow of a criminal empire, yet she was the one who held the real power. The power of simple, unadulterated kindness. And in a world of darkness, that made her the most protected and perhaps the most dangerous person of all. What would you have done in her shoes? Let me know in the comments below.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this one.